Today's flatulence brought to you by accidental diarrhea. Accidental diarrhea for when you absolutely know that you didn't know that you had to go. Visit accidental diarrhea at their website, oopsicrapmypants.com.
Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk, the horror movie podcast, where two schlubby guys talk about spoopy movies with your hosts, Bryce Hanson, the cool collected nihilist, and David Day, an angry man who is always right. This podcast is for lovers of horror movies, old and new, that want to hear about what's in theaters, what's streaming, fresh takes on old classics, and terrible horror movies that are bad enough to be good. You can find our website at horrormovietalk.com to listen to past episodes. You'll also find convenient links to subscribe to our podcast feed and our social media. We love feedback, so please leave us a review on iTunes and message us on Facebook and Twitter. Today we'll be talking about The Meg. We'll start at giving an overview of our review and our score for the movie.
I'm David Day.
I realized I didn't have a part for that. I'm Bryce Hanson.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And that's David Day. So we score from 1 to 10, and David can jump in and help me describe this, but 1 being just a miserable dredge where it makes you angry and how bad it is. 5 being... 5 is the middle ground. It's a passable movie. It doesn't make you too angry. It doesn't make you super happy. It's just a movie. Yeah. Hits all the marks. Yeah. And 10 being so good that it's not only one of the greatest horror movies, but transcends the genre and is just a great movie, period. After we give our score, we'll get into spoilers and take a deeper dive into what we liked and hated about the film. And later we'll be doing a couple bits that we think are funny and probably no one else does. We do taglines.
They're funny. Yeah. I guarantee goddamn to you they're funny. I'm going to come to your house and make sure you laugh.
And Bryce called it. And thanks again for listening. Let's get into the show. So we went and saw The Meg, and it's exactly what you expect from a movie about a giant shark. Giant shark.
That big old guy.
Here's the trailer. The Meg can be found in theaters now and raking in dough in China. The Meg is a run-of-the-mill but well-executed monster movie starring Jason Statham and China. The country, not the wrestler. Rest her soul. Jason Statham plays Jonas Taylor, an expert rescue diver who is retired after a tragically failed rescue.
We don't know.
Which Jonas blames on a giant fish or something.
There's a monster outside.
It's a shark. That was what the monster was.
What you people discovered is bigger than we ever thought possible.
How big is that thing?
It was the largest shark that ever existed.
A living fossil.
Thought to have been extinct for over 2 million years. Wrong.
My God. It's a megalodon. He's kidding, right?
So,
The thing's out there.
Shoot.
You need to find it and kill it.
Why don't you just put a tracker on it? Did you guys ever watch Shark Week?
He looks heroic, but he's kind of got a negative attitude. Chew on this, you ugly...
I forgot about Rainn Wilson in this movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about Rainn Wilson later. So yeah, I was trying to do a slick live read over the trailer because there's a lot of boringness in the beginning.
Yeah, that trailer was a lot more boring
Yeah.
than most.
So, anyways, he's brought out of retirement after another diving accident befalls his ex-wife, who is researching the deepest hidden depths of the ocean. Before her video cuts out, she says, "Jonas was right." The big fish ends up being a megalodon, a giant shark, and they inadvertently lead the prehistoric shark to the surface waters. From then on, it's a paint-by-numbers monster movie that hits pretty much every beat you would expect it to. The Meg also stars a cast of disposable characters played by Bing Bing Lee. Her actual name, I didn't make that up. She's a Chinese actress you might have seen in Transformers: Age of Extinction. I don't know why you would see that movie. Ruby Rose channeling Aeon Flux, and Rainn Wilson phoning it in, and others. The Meg is
Bing Bing Lee.
Bing Bing Lee.
I love that name. I want to name my child Bing Bing.
Yeah.
It would definitely be frowned upon.
Isn't that the character in what's that Pixar movie?
The Meg?
No. No, that's the one about emotions with Amy Poehler. What was that movie?
What?
I can't remember.
Oh,
No, that was
yeah.
Bing Bong. Remember Bing Bong?
No, I never saw that.
No, I
movie.
never saw it. Okay.
Do you think
It
it
was
would
really
be
sad.
appropriate for it? Like, could I name my child Bing Bing?
I think you can do anything at this point.
I could name my child Bing Bing.
No, maybe not.
That
Maybe as a middle name. Maybe as a middle name.
this is Tyler Bing Bing Day.
Yeah. So The Meg is an enjoyable movie if you don't get into lofty expectations about a movie about a giant shark that eats a bunch of people. It is the epitome of a general audience popcorn fare and an amusing spectacle.
Man, it sure is. It is that in spades.
Yeah.
It's so generically blockbustery. It's almost takes that to like. It almost starts being a caricature of that.
Yeah.
Like, put butts in seats, get them eating freaking popcorn, and let them make them have a good time. Damn it!
Yeah, not only that, but it's taken it even further and like sieved it through the sieve of international audiences.
Oh yeah.
So
oh yeah.
generic.
Yeah. It became. Yeah. What was the shark movie with Samuel L. Jackson? Was it Deep Blue Sea?
Yeah.
Now that was a good.
That one had bite.
That one had bite. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, it wasn't a good movie. It was a good cable TV movie
Right.
that came on and very regularly, and that I could sit down every time and be like, yeah, okay, I'm watching this now. Guess there's 2 more hours going by. Anyway.
Right. So the score, what do you give The Meg?
You know what? The Meg, I was pretty excited for this movie for a number of reasons, and it ended up not being anything. It ended up being a lot of the things that I thought it was going to be, but not for the same reasons. Like, it was surprising how watered down it was, and how intentional how the Chinese market factored into this whole thing.
And we're going to talk about that a lot more.
Yeah, and for that reason, it became wildly fun and hard to predict in its incredible genericness.
Yeah. So our scoring again, so 1 being just so awful it makes you angry.
Yes. I'm sorry.
5 being just average, middle of the road, and 10 being just amazing, one of the best movies that you've seen.
I'd give it a 6 because it made me laugh a lot.
Yeah, I give it a just right down the center a 5 because it's so paint by numbers.
Oh yeah.
That there's nothing, as much as I want to say there's something slightly better than average, I can't identify one thing. I was thinking maybe kind of the witty banter is a little better than normal, but it wasn't.
The witty banter was made better.
It was so average
by the fact that it was watered down. Anyway, yeah.
Right. So yeah, I didn't think there was anything notable that made it better than average. So now we can get into spoilers. Spoilers brought to you by unemployment. Unemployment, providing you time to start podcasts and play video games. Need more time with the kids? Try unemployment. Get fired today.
I love these guys.
Okay, now we're going to get more into spoilers and kind of do a rundown of what we think and the beats in the movie that jumped out at us. First one being, why is everyone an asshole to Jason Statham?
Yeah, I wasn't super clear on that. It was, he needed to be the vigilante, right?
Yeah.
And they just found I don't know how did they? Oh! So the movie started out with Jason Statham like rescuing a large, like a nuclear submarine worth of people,
and he rescues like 99% of the people.
Yeah, he like grabs all these people, and it's being attacked by what we can only assume is the Meg. And then so in his attempt to rescue everyone, he realizes he's running out of time. Excuse me. And he realizes he's running out of time, and so he goes. He makes the critical decision. I'm not going to save the last few people. I can hear him screaming from within. I'm gonna blow the hatch, and we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna save the people that I got. And that is that very sane decision that can be backed up by a bunch of witnesses who are I would assume, very happy that they're alive.
And a very large explosion.
Yeah, followed by a very large explosion. A bunch of people who can vouch for him, and somehow he's the bad guy.
Yeah,
because
the doctor's like, why didn't you save those last 3 people?
What was his name? Was Jonas? God damn it, Jonas. You know it's just an excuse. It's like, it was a very, like, cop, like the beat cop's boss coming down on him. Damn it, Jonas, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it was, so tacked on.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, you realize that he did save all those people and there was extenuating circumstances. And, like, 3 of his friends died because of it, so it's not like he didn't feel bad about
right,
it.
but they painted it as though you intentionally made sure that those people died.
And that exact same thing happens later in the movie.
Right. Yes. But at that point he's vindicated, right? Because like before, there are witnesses who were like, no, shit was popping off down there, and he did the right thing, and I'm alive because of it.
Right.
So it didn't work the first time with a bunch of people, but it worked the second time with like 4 for him. So he
well, yeah, no, even so they do the rescue in the middle of the movie when they discover the Meg, and there's one guy that, among others, there's the one guy that stays behind. Yeah. And somehow Jason Statham is blamed for that death again. And it's just out of the blue. You're like, whoa, what? How would you even say that other than to create drama in a movie? Right. Yeah, it was just tacked on and didn't make much sense.
One thing that bothered me a lot was, okay, there were a lot of explosions underwater, which is fine. It's a movie set underwater for the most part, but they were fiery explosions. Yeah. They were like very fiery. It was like a little too much fire in that underwater explosion. Yeah. I mean, I've seen underwater explosions in other movies. Be all kind of like, an implosion that's not really much any. It's kind of like a bloop. Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, things.
So the next thing that's kind of related to Jason Statham being viewed as an asshole irrationally is, why does everyone want to die in this movie?
Everybody wanted to die in this movie.
Every person that dies in this movie does so valiantly and to protect others or something. Or some of them are just like, yeah, you could just swim faster like everyone else and save yourself, but no, he's got to stay behind and sacrifice himself for ...
This was so confounding to me after like the 4th time it happened, and now that I'm starting to think about it, it may have something to do with the China translation, there may be some sort of cultural thing where it's like for the good of everyone else.
Yeah.
One will sacrifice themselves. I don't know. I hope I'm not way out of base by saying that, but there is no other explanation for this happening 4, 5, 6 times in this movie. I don't know why.
I think what I thought it might be is just for the rating to get PG-13 instead of R. You can't have a bunch of pointless killings or eatings from the shark.
It has to be honor eating.
It has to be honor eatings.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
no.
I mean, it all was just made it not tragic. People dying. It's like, oh yeah, he's saving the others, I guess. So that makes me feel good that he died, as opposed to like, oh no, the shark's eating a bunch of people. I can only think of one. No, yeah, I can't even think of one death in the movie that was
shown
like a pointless death in terms of like storytelling. Everyone was either comeuppance or someone trying to save others or just accepting their fate or something like that.
Thinking about the rating on this, like, I mean, famously Jaws is PG.
Yeah.
The movie that sets the high watermark.
Well, Jaws was before PG-13 though.
Oh. Yeah, touche.
Yeah,
I didn't even.
So
PGs
PGs were a little rougher. I mean, this movie like barely even had any blood in
it.
it.
I don't think this movie had
the
movie
most
had
blood. Sorry, go ahead.
it had like Jason's like a drip running out of his mouth,
right?
Like once or twice.
The absolute most blood and gore in the movie came from chumming the waters.
Oh yes, by far.
That was it.
Yeah.
Even Rainn Wilson getting fucking eaten with only his like hand left. It was like you just don't even see anything.
Yeah,
like,
no, there was and then there was a whale carcass that they blew up.
Right.
And that was, but yeah, for the most part, I don't see how this. I mean, really, apart from I don't know, maybe there was some language, but it does not even really deserve a PG-13.
Yeah,
this is a PG-13 based on principle, like based on Angry Mom principle.
Right. I mean, I can't think of any actual terrifying death. Like there's no comparable scene to Jaws when the salty sailor gets eaten and it's like halfway out of the shark. There's nothing even close to that. It's all just completely swallowed or
Yeah.
Like there's no one even chomped in half or anything. It's just like, all right, now they're gone.
Right, there's no suffering.
Of course,
There's minor tension, like in chase. There's plenty of chase and tension. It's much more of an action movie, than anything else.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, I guess you wouldn't get many people chomped in half. Megalodon's mouth is big enough to just swallow everything.
Which brings me to another plot point that I would like to discuss. There was a lot of very specific megalodon specific tech in this movie. Like they came prepared for Megalodon, but they didn't know it was down there until shit started popping off. I think that's like the third time this episode I said popping off, but I'm going with it.
What was the tech? I don't remember.
What was the tech? Oh, so like the shark cage that they put Bing Bing in.
Oh yeah.
So the shark cage wasn't a cage at all. It was like an ultra plexiglass tube that could withstand 100,000 pounds per square inch of bite force, and was like just a little bit too big for a megalodon to swallow. Like very specifically crafted for something that doesn't exist, except it does once we find it.
Right.
And then there was, super fast moving subs that can go all the way really, really fast, and they can twirl around and they can outmaneuver a very fast moving, very large predator. And all this stuff only comes out after the Meg shows up, very conveniently.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Like the super sub that could just fly around like a jet fighter. It's like a jet ski level maneuverability.
Yeah,
underneath the ocean.
And when the scientific research team, so the scientific research team are going down to like explore beneath this, what was it? It was like a
I can't remember how they described
hydrogen
it.
sulfide lake that sat that created a false bottom on the ocean floor, and then so they sent this like research sub down below to see if it was actually a false bottom or if it was actually the ocean floor. And of course it finds out that it's a false bottom, and they go under there, and there's this magnificent, is a very cool looking ocean floor, and it's a slow moving little bumpy little James Cameron sub. And then
there's 3 of them in there.
Yeah, there's 3 of them in there. And then, once the Meg comes out and, gets to the surface and stuff, now the big subs, the fast subs that can also go, that, by the way, go to the bottom to save the little research sub. Like, they're capable of doing all the same stuff and better and faster.
Right. In terms of technology, in this movie, every single sub can go to the deepest part of the ocean.
Yeah.
They're all rated for the exact same depth, which is the depths of hell, apparently. Right. They're all easy way to go down, which is kind of a lame missed opportunity, because part of going down to save people would be like, hey, this submarine isn't rated for this depth, and start like having bolts and stuff pop out and
the scary abyss
leaking.
moment.
Yeah. So yeah, that was one thing that's like, I don't think every sub, especially a sub that's basically just a glass ball, would
the one that Bing
do
Bing
as fine as like a giant sub that's on a scientific mission. And then it brings up the question: why didn't they just send down a camera and a rock?
Tie a rock to the end of a rope and see if it's a false bottom. Just do that.
So yeah, part of the plot is that Rainn Wilson is this billionaire, probably kind of modeled after Mark Cuban. Would you say that that's accurate?
Yeah. Are we talking about Rainn?
Rainn Wilson, yeah. Is it Rainn?
Rainn.
Is that his last name? Wilson? Rainn?
Yeah.
Okay. So his character is this billionaire that's funding this research project, to which they're sinking just a ton of money into this underwater, like Johnny Quest level research facility, and all these submarines and stuff. I'm like, well, I mean, couldn't they just do this with a boat and like a little robot submarine?
Yeah, and they make a nod to that in the movie.
Yeah.
They say he's like, were we going to find any, Rainn says to his research team, are we going to find anything down there? And the guy looks to him and goes, well, if we don't, you just wasted $1.8 billion. It's like, well, yeah, what the fuck are you doing? Building an underwater oil rig down here. Like, what's going on?
And Rainn's character even says, is he joking? And, there's silence. So yeah, that's just kind of like, yeah, well, why not just do it on the cheap? I mean, you didn't become a billionaire by spending too much money.
Yeah. Rainn was
Yeah,
shockingly bad in this movie.
Yeah, this is another point, is that no character in this movie has any discernible personality until it's needed.
Right.
And Rainn Wilson is the epitome of that. It's just total...
It was jarring.
Like, blank page, just Rainn Wilson. It looks like he just walked onto the set and they wrote some cue cards. And he was just, hey guys, I'm Rainn Wilson. I'm going to read the stuff. Remember The Office? And then eventually it shows some kind of personality very, very late in the movie where he goes... He kind of does like a speech where it's rousing the troops and being very somber about the people that they've lost. And you're like, oh, okay. So I guess now they want us to think that he cares about all this stuff. Okay. And then like 60 seconds later, he's on a helicopter and he's like, let's go hunt that shark.
Yeah.
It's just like, wait a minute. So he doesn't care. So they set up that he cares about the people just to contrast it with, okay, now he's, your stereotypical evil, greedy billionaire.
Right, to go back on his word.
And then he immediately dies. That's like his character. His character arc is flatline to... Yeah.
Caring. Yeah, Rain was a weird, like, jarring thing for me in this movie because I just got done rewatching The Office. And I mean, like, I don't know, say what you will about Rainn Wilson. I don't know how he's generally thought of as an actor. I think of him pretty highly because of Dwight is so well done and such a kind of simple but very complex character that is just executed very well. And so I just come off of, 9 seasons of The Office. And then I get to this and it was like, what the fuck? Like, this is summer blockbuster and this is the best you can muster? Like, good Lord. But that being said, I mean, the only decent acting job in this really was Jason Statham, I think.
Yeah.
And that little girl.
Yeah.
The young little girl.
Yeah.
That I can't remember her name.
Not Bing Bing.
No. Bing Bing's daughter?
Yeah,
mark?
Bing Bing's daughter in the movie.
Yeah.
Bing Bing is the name of the actual actress. It's not the name of the character in the movie,
Well,
by the way.
it's the better of whatever name they gave her.
Right. So, yeah, and that's true with all the other characters. They don't really have... I mean, what is the defining characteristic of Jonas Taylor?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
brooding. Oh, abs. That's the defining abs.
right. Sexy.
Oh, yeah.
Sexy abs.
Yeah. They did not cash in on that enough, by the way. I could have used a lot more of those washboards, baby. Oh, baby.
Yeah, so there was, I mean, I can't, everyone was disposable. Everyone was the same. They didn't even, like, really...
The token black guy was the most token black guy you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, I think he was the most token. I mean, there's a lot of characters that could have been the token. Like,
he was sacrificed on the whatever you sacrifice on the altar of tokens. Like, this dude was sacrificed on that altar.
Okay, let's get into talking about China, because that's
China.
The one thing that I came away with this movie is this was so obviously targeted towards China and the international audience that it was just a sign of things to come.
Yeah, it was very telling.
Yeah. So here's a couple of the things. There's many main characters that were Chinese. So Bing Bing Lee plays what's her name, and she's the major female lead, and she has a father that's also a main character, the main scientist, and her daughter in it. And there's, Chinese spoken throughout to those among those characters. And the story takes place like near China. The deep ocean part is near China, and then the ending, the major set piece action sequences were all in a heavily crowded Chinese beach
Vacation spot.
right.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was kind of it was kind of interesting, but also just weird that it was so distracting to me. I guess I mean, obviously, since we're laughing at a name called Bing Bing Lee, we're not the most racially sensitive people in the world.
Whoa. It can be a funny name without it being
name.
a racially driven thought.
Yeah, but I mean, I know that David's racist, so that
I am absolutely not racist. I appreciate funny words.
So it was just kind of interesting seeing the beach sequence was very. I don't know how to describe it. It was very like This Is Us.
I'll give you what you're looking for here. There are certain foods, let's say, like venison or deer, that is well known to coat your mouth. Right, when you eat it, the fat from it just coats your mouth, and some people dislike it very much because it's just overpowering in this singular way. This movie was venison. There was some weird feeling about every part of this movie.
It coated your mouth in China.
Yeah, it felt intentional in a way that you didn't know why.
Yeah.
Like there is a thing happening here, and it's substantial, and there's for a reason, but it's not for you necessarily.
Right.
There's a part of it that's for you, and that's kind of the duality of it, but there's another part of it that not you.
You know a part that stands out to me that just called the attention, like, oh yeah, I'm really not used to seeing this, had like the Chinese teenage hunks like whistling for the Chinese girls. I'm like, wait a minute. You can't sexualize Asians. You can't sexualize Asian men. This is America.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be Mickey Rooney.
Right.
And Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's like, oh, yeah. Well, why isn't that normal to see that? Well, it's because we're not Chinese.
Right.
But yeah, that was... It wasn't bad, but it was distracting for me to see some of that, because it's like, oh yeah, this is obviously not for me, and that's fine because I got enough targeted at me. I'm kind of tired of having my childhood nostalgia shoved down my throat every trailer that I see.
Yeah, Ready Player One. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It wasn't. I don't think it was. It wasn't bad. At no point was it upsetting to me. In fact, quite the opposite. It was pretty entertaining to me. Like, I found it to be kind of interesting and fun, and way different. And I found myself wondering at the end of it. I was like, well, is this? How much more of this are we going to see? And will they get better at it, or is this the formula that they've kind of like, that they've decided to stick with? Because if there's a lot more of these kind of blockbustery China focused movies, whoa! Bryce just brought up the box office top 10.
Okay, yeah, this tells you something.
Wow, man!
The Mega's been out a couple weeks.
We're gonna put a link to this this box office record, or this box office earnings.
Yeah, and the Mega's been pretty high up in the charts in the U.S. Like, it finished number 2 this last weekend. And in the U.S. domestic box office, it made $88 million. $88.8 million, so almost $89 million. Contrast that with what they made in China, which was, can you see it?
$127 million?
$127.7 million. So 1.5 times what it made in the U.S.
Wow.
Just in China. That's just China. And then it made... $232 million internationally, just altogether, but half of that was China.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's
so expect to see these generic popcorn movies to be targeting a specific international audience from now on, and it's kind of interesting. I've already seen it in a lot of things, and it's kind of interesting what doesn't work. Like, Star Wars has not worked in China, and it's kind of
so weird,
surprising.
Yeah.
Transformers did great.
Well, I don't know if it's weird. That's the weird thing about it. Is that weird? I have no frame of reference on this. I, for one, would like to welcome our new Chinese overlords. The U.S. isn't on that bar chart, are
no.
they? That's the international earnings. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, damn, Mexico's edging out the U.S.
Yeah, the second largest international audience was Mexico, and it was 13 million. 13.3 million. So it's not even close. Just not even on the same wavelength. Okay, next. Obvious statements and quotes. This is another example of how it's targeting international audiences, because everything is spelled out in the dialogue very plainly. There's nothing left to chance about cultural interpretation or did you catch that or are you used to watching movies.
Right.
It's very much, I'm telling you right now. So here's two of my favorite quotes.
You got to set them up. You got to set them up pretty decently.
So the first one, you want to take the first one?
Which is the first one? I have. I'll take one of them. Can I do the Finn one?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a point when they come upon a wrecked boat, right? They're like cruising on the surface, and they come upon like a wrecked fishing boat, and they're looking at the wreckage. They're looking at the wreckage, and there's all these dead sharks in the water, and the sharks have their fins cut off, and the token black guy says, "Those sharks have no fins." There's a good 3-second long shot of showing, dead sharks with no fins. And then he just says it. And it was like, that was the statement. There's nothing else.
Right.
And then somebody else goes on a little bit of a diatribe about, oh yes, well, the Chinese, they like their shark fin soup, and it's so sad. It was like a tisk tisk, like a shame on you for liking away.
It was pretty weak. It came from the Chinese father, was the character that did that, and it wasn't a very strong morality play. It was just,
it was there, but it was not. It had no exclamation mark behind it, and that's. I mean, hey, I don't like killing sharks, but I also don't like telling people what to do or what to like. So whatever. I'm just saying that piece of dialogue was weird and made me and everyone. I think everyone in the theater was like, "Pa, what? What was that?"
Right.
What was the other one?
This is probably my favorite line in the entire movie. It's probably the only line that I actually remember. So this I don't know if there's much of a setup, but it comes after they were attacked and they're kind of stranded. They're kind of trying to find out what to do next. Yeah. And character says about the Megalodon, "It has already proven itself aggressive towards boats."
What?
That was a line in a movie. It's already proven itself aggressive towards boats.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah. Leave nothing. Just in case you want the international audiences to understand, we're at risk even if we're on a boat.
It's already attacked boats in the past.
Do you understand? Yeah. All right, there's not really much moral to the story in this movie. They play it pretty milquetoast.
Yeah.
I think the closest they get is they say something to the effect of like first we discover and then we destroy.
Yeah.
But it's tacked on. It's not like a really big part. It's not, none of the story has come up and it's because of that.
Right.
We found a big shark and it's eating people.
I wonder if they're going to make shark fin soup out of the megalodon's fins.
Oh my gosh, that could feed China for, I don't know, like a day.
Maybe.
There's a lot of Chinese people.
Yeah, it's a huge section of the earth.
Yeah. I think we covered, so there's no ocean-related dread.
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit. There's some claustrophobic pieces, if that's your thing. There's not, definitely no emphasis placed on it. Not as much emphasis as was placed on those sharks have no fins.
There's no real room given to the dread in the movie. Everything happens very quick and the shark just comes and bites people. There's not really, is it here, isn't it? What's under there? It's a giant shark and you see it every time.
Yeah.
And you're just waiting for it to attack. There's not like, where is it? Like in Jaws, there's a lot of setup of the music, looking at like the barrels like blooping underneath the water, and you're like, we know it's there, or we're hoping for it to be here, but where'd it go? well, there's this huge swath of ocean and uncertainty, and that's what it's playing on, and it doesn't really do that in this movie.
Yeah, I think about Jaws and just how much was done for the dread, just with the musical score. Just I mean it doesn't
Right.
get any more epic than the Jaws theme.
Right. Yeah, I think I saw it when I was poking around the Numbers website for the box office. There's a link that says the most bankable names in Hollywood, and John Williams is like number 19 or something. Just
Wow.
any movie that he's involved with makes just ungodly amounts of money.
What else has he put his hands on? Do you know?
John Williams,
Yeah.
he's the most famous movie composer alive. So
That wasn't my question.
Star Wars, Superman, Jaws, Indiana Jones, Schindler's List, Catch Me If You Can, anything by Steven Spielberg. Basically, he's scored it. Steven Spielberg or George Lucas,
Fievel Goes West.
except for Red Fin or Red Hawk or whatever that George Lucas atrocity was.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've forgotten about that.
Yeah. Five Will Goes West. No, he didn't do that.
Shocking.
That was I don't know, I could yell at my wife. She's on the other side of the door. Aaron, who did Five Will Goes West? Or American Tail? Oh. She doesn't know. Well, that was unsatisfying. Okay, so yeah, I want to pose a question about ocean-related dread. What's your favorite movie that uses the ocean or some kind of abyss to inspire dread? Leave us a comment on the blog post or on our Facebook.
What's yours?
I mean, I don't think you can really beat Jaws.
Yeah, I'm trying my hardest. I mean,
Event Horizon's pretty good. I mean, that's a lot about abyss.
yeah. Now,
Sunshine could also be classified as
Sunshine.
that.
I like Sunshine a lot, but it's not the same kind of feels. I think, I think back to The Abyss actually, and the amount of upset that caused me. Just constantly being under the water and always being in tight space. That was upsetting.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not a scary movie. But yeah, that and Jaws, obviously.
Yeah. Another thing about this movie is that there's a lot of people that don't know how to swim.
Yeah. Yeah, most people didn't know how to swim.
Yeah, why would you...
No, that's not true. A decent amount of people... That was
No,
a
that's
thing.
right. That's right, because Rainn Wilson said he didn't know how to swim, but he actually did.
Yeah,
But the black guy said he didn't know how to swim and didn't know how to swim,
right.
which is also super racist. What? James Horner
Did Fievel Goes
did
West?
Fievel Goes West and The American Tail.
Oh, okay.
This just in.
This just in.
James Horner has
Yeah.
been named as the composer of American Tail.
That was another thing that shocked me about this movie. Going back to the swimming thing, was we're watching a movie about a shark being underwater and like eating people, and people were just intentionally jumping into the water and swimming all over the place, like just all over the place. I was and with no worry. They're just like, I gotta go over here now, and so when there was no attention being paid to that, to like spice it up a little bit to like make it like, oh golly, you got to get your feet out of the water. There was no effort to make that spooky or scary. There was no effort to make it anything really. It was just an afterthought.
Yeah. So who do you think this movie would be good for?
China.
I wrote down that it'd be good. It'd be great for middle-aged dads that like Shark Week and drinking beer.
I saw this. I saw the trailer for this during Shark Week. So there you have it.
Yeah.
While I was buzzed.
Yeah.
And ironically, I was on an island.
Yeah. If you like monster movies, this will be a good notch in your belt. It's not anything spectacular, but if you went to every King Kong movie because they had a big monster in it, go see the Meg.
Yeah, if you like Godzilla. Yeah, it is a Godzilla level movie. That is exactly what it is. It is Godzilla.
All right. So moving on.
Oh yeah, so we're moving on to our taglines bit. But first, taglines is being brought to you by one of our sponsors, Manxy Pads.
No. It's Manxy Pads.
Mansky Pads.
No. Manxy Pads. It's like Maxi Pads except with man in front of it.
Mansky Pad.
We'll fix it in post. Go ahead.
Okay. Manxy Pads. Keep your taint fresh and dry for the ladies with Manxy Pads. I started using Manxy Pads, and I'm never going back.
Manxy Pads.
Mansky Pads.
Manxy.
No,
just go ahead.
Get a taint as dry as a baby's forehead with Manxy Pads.
Perfect.
It lifts and separates your taint.
Time for taglines. I've got a bunch of crazy taglines. We got a bunch of crazy taglines.
Never again.
I meant to write more words for that, but I think it worked out well.
Yes. I agree. You are hearing me talk.
Okay. So taglines is where we come up with what we think are better taglines for the movie.
That being
more
said,
descriptive, maybe.
Yeah. That being said, though, something I didn't realize, and this is on me, and you can make as much fun of me as you want, but I didn't know that movies came out with like 20 taglines to begin with. So I'm searching for inspiration on taglines to write, and I'm going through, and I see on IMDb that there's a tagline section. There's like 20 pretty good taglines out there that they wrote, and I asked Bryce, what's that about? And he says,
well, yeah, first of all, there's a lot of movies that I didn't realize had taglines.
Right.
I guess every movie does, but the reason why there's many is that they use different ones on different posters, I think.
Yeah. I guess the ones that end up winning, like Halloween, I can't exactly remember it. It's like, it's a pretty, as far as horror movies go, it's a pretty standard tagline. But it won because the poster, it was the most memorable poster that it was printed on, I suppose.
Yeah.
Anyway, so do you want to go first?
No, you go first. I think you got, how many you got? I only got a couple.
Let's see here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, you go
But
first.
some of them are bad.
All right. No, don't undersell it. I'm sure they're
Okay.
great.
All right. Shark fin soup that takes a bite out of you.
The Meg. Shut up, Meg.
Oh, I have a.
Do you have a Family Guys one? Family Guy?
You know what? I watched 10 minutes of purely Meg bashing, Meg Griffin bashing to try and get an inspiration for it. What was it?
Shut up, Meg. They just say "shut up, Meg" all the time.
Yeah, they do say "shut up, Meg." That's
all right.
Damn. I hate that you got one out of it. I don't think that I got one out of it.
Moving on.
Okay. This living fossil has a bone to pick with you.
That one would work.
Yeah,
I like that one.
You should do it like more. This living fossil has a bone to pick with you.
Yeah. See, all mine, I try to make it funny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying here. Yeah, my next one will make it better.
My next one, the Meg, totally jawsome. Remember Street Sharks?
Yeah, Street Sharks. Okay, here we go.
They need to make a movie about Street Sharks.
No, they do not.
I mean, they've rebooted Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Like twice.
Street Sharks never even got a movie.
Damn.
I mean,
Transformers has like 1 million movies.
Yeah.
Si Sao Jian Zai Nali Meg. I think that means where's the bathroom, Meg?
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Okay.
All right, this is my last one. It's probably the best.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't want to oversell it. The Meg. Like Jaws, but biggerer.
Biggerer? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Biggerer. Okay, here's my last one. I'm not going to go with this other one. Well, okay, I'll do them both.
I psyched you out.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. This one, too big to be a pool shark.
Yeah, that's good.
No, it's not. And then my closer is shark light, shark bite. First shark I see tonight. I wish I may. I wish I might escape this shark. This shark I see with fright.
Makes you think.
It rhymes too.
Yeah, it works. I like that. All right. Bryce called it. Our bit that I don't have any music for.
We can fix it in post.
We can fix it.
Bryce!
Jesus. Can't fix that in post.
I'm getting punchy.
Jeez. All right. That's going to screw up our levels.
Oh,
okay, go ahead.
Oh, darn.
That's fine.
No, that was all I got.
Oh, Bryce called it.
I'm supposed to intro you. So Bryce Called It is a bit that we were trying to make work. It just kind of is turned Bryce into an annoying movie watcher because he's constantly trying to call things that will happen in the movie. Now, he has some wins under his belt so far. One that hasn't been released yet, and another that was in Slenderman. I think you had maybe one or two calls that you made in Slenderman that were pretty accurate.
Yeah. The most accurate one hasn't been aired
right.
yet. We've got the episode for The Evil Within.
Yeah.
Just lying in wait. That has the best one. But anyway, I had like two minor called it things in the Meg.
Yeah. So what were they?
There was one that was okay. Actually, there's only one that I wrote down, but the one that I called was Jason Statham riding the shark.
Yeah.
I was like, this movie's not going to end before Jason Statham is riding this shark, and in my mind, I didn't call it 100% because what I envisioned was Jason Statham riding on the back of the shark, holding the fin in a big wave of water, and that's not what happened. But he did like have a harpoon in the shark, and the shark breaches out of the water while Jason Statham is riding it. So
he was definitely being propelled. He was being moved with and by the shark.
Right. He was riding the shark, but just not in the way that I had envisioned in my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
My way would have been better, more ridiculous, which I think was needed more in this movie.
Wonder how it would play with the Chinese audience.
Yeah, I don't know. No, Chinese don't like riding sharks.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's a big part of their culture. That's offensive.
Oh. Well,
yeah.
Well, shit. We can't do that.
Okay. And then there's another minor one that I can't remember.
Something about the music?
I think it was about Rainn Wilson's character.
He's going to get eaten? That'd be too easy.
Something.
I wouldn't even allow that on Bryce called it.
Yeah. Gosh, I can't remember. I should have wrote it down. Anyways, yeah, the big one, the big prediction was, Jason Statham riding the shark. So I called it. You want to talk about me getting raped by local government?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Oh my gosh, we didn't talk about this before we set up. So I got a parking ticket months ago, and it was complete bullshit because I had the parking ticket displayed in the curbside window, which is
you had your parking
validation, the little tag that said you paid for parking, and it was displayed in the curbside window, just like you would
current
anywhere in Portland. It's current. I paid for the time, and I showed up and I got a ticket. It said that I hadn't paid, and it was still within the time that was valid on the ticket. My mistake was that I've parked in Vancouver, Washington, and their instructions are to not put the little tab in your side window. They want it on the dashboard. Therefore, I got a parking ticket. That's like I didn't even pay for it.
That's some serious bullshit.
And so, with time still on the stub, I went to the city hall building and said, okay, this is just a big mistake, guys. Obviously, I paid for this. And, you're just going to avoid it, right? And they take a copy and they say, just write down the circumstances and we'll get back to you. It'll be like 4 to 6 weeks before we can reply. It's like, oh my gosh. Why? It seems so simple.
The long, flabby arm of the law.
And then I waited and then it said, nope, your contested ticket failed. You'll have to come to court to contest it. Just like, oh my gosh, why do you do this?
So did you go to court today?
I went to court today, and I didn't tell you this. So I go in, and stereotypical security guard takes a look at my 1.5-inch pocket knife on my keychain, and says, "No, you can't take this in to the courthouse. You can either leave it here and we'll dispose of it, or you can take it back to your car and get back in line and come back through."
What?
Yeah. And I said, like, my reply to that was, so can I just, like, leave it here? Can I just leave it in a tray right here and I can come back and get it on my way out? And he interrupts me. He's like, I just told you, sir, that, this is what's going to happen. So I was like, all right. I mean, I had like 5 minutes to get to the scheduled time, which is meaningless apparently in this circumstance. But I just go out the door and there's like a broken ATM right outside the door, so I just chuck it behind it.
There you go.
I'll get it, which has worked in the past. I did that at Portland Airport when I realized I had like an actual full-size pocket knife. I was like, crap. I had to go to San Francisco for a day trip.
By the way, when your solution creates more dangerous situations than if you had just left the 1.5-inch knife on the guy.
Right.
Now he just put his knife somewhere for anybody, a little kid to come pick up, right, something like that, to get around your bullshit.
So I put it back there, and then I just turned around and walked back in the door and went in. And so that's first set me off. And then I get up to the room, and then the judge is late, and then it's very late because they have technical difficulties. And the time that they give you is meaningless. They say, your court date is at 9 p.m. on this date, but really your time to sit with other people is around this time.
Maybe he had a problem parking.
No, the judge was there. It was a woman. And
maybe she had a problem parking.
Yeah, and no, it was technical I mean, she was there just a minute or two late, but then it took 15 minutes for them to get the computer to work. And then go up to the judge and explain it, and it's just like, nope, sorry, the statute says, it has to be displayed properly. And I'm like, okay. And the lady right before me had the almost exact same situation. And so I got it reduced. So instead of $25, it was $12.50. Just like, all right, but it's already not worth the 2 hours of my time that is taken to make this trip and sit in this court and wait for people. And then I'm like, all right, and I go pay it, and I head my way out, and then the pocket knife's gone. And I'm 99% sure that security guard walked out and picked it up and threw it away, because there's no way anyone else would see it back there. I was like, oh my gosh. So it would have.
Did you get them to admit that they were just chicken shit? That's now you told me this story before, and I just want to hear them say. I just want to be like, look, I'll pay the full price, but you got to admit that on the record, in front of everyone here, just say that you're fucking the taxpayer. Just say it. That's all this is. That's all this is. I paid for the ticket, and you still gave me one.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I was broken. And, well, you know what? The other thing that I was worried about is that since it was late, I was worried that I didn't put enough time on my parking meter to go to the court date. So I was like, I got to get out of here because I'm not getting another ticket for this, for trying to contest this ticket.
I'll see you guys in 4 to 6 weeks. God damn it.
Which actually I had plenty of time, but yeah. So ended up being, I should have just paid the $25 because I was out like $26 because I need to replace that.
And 2 hours.
Little pocket knife. Just super useful. Get like a little tiny pocket knife for your keychain.
Yeah.
I can't tell how many times I've used those little scissors.
Lots of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always end up using my keys as knives.
Yeah. Opening packages and stuff. All right. You have anything else? We've obviously gotten through the stuff that we wanted to talk about, but
yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So, thanks everyone for listening. If you liked the episode, please subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. If you have a buddy or group of friends that you like seeing horror movies with, please share the podcast. We're a very small group so far, but we want to grow into something bigger, and your help is needed. If you didn't like the podcast or have no friends, keep it to yourself, asshole. We're trying as hard as we can.
Damn it.
Just kidding. We love feedback. Leave us a comment on our blog, Facebook page, or Twitter. Honestly, if you have constructive feedback, expect to hear it improved on the next show. Well, at times, because we're kind of going out of order for what we record.
We really do appreciate constructive criticism.
Yeah, and we want to thank you personally. On that note, we want to thank Tracy for letting us know that she liked our taglines for Slender Man. It's good to know that someone likes our amateur humor.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the people that don't like it, they're going to hear a lot more of it because we love that shit.
But let us know if you don't like it.
Right. Until next time, we're Bryce and David, and this was Horror Movie Talk.